Okay, welcome to week 2 of Sacred Soul Embodiment. We're so excited to have you here. We're going to start off with just a couple of announcements really quick. So I do want you guys to know that we are holding space for 2 other women who will not be in class till next week. They've had to rearrange their schedule to be able to attend. So we're holding space for Debbie and Deborah, who will be joining our class for next week. So if everyone wants to just send them some yummy vibes, that would be awesome. Candace, do you want me to just go through all these real quick?
Yeah, because I'm just getting some messages from peeps.
Perfect. We also want to make sure, thumbs up if you understand and have access to, oh, hey, Candace, sorry, will you text Courtney? I totally forgot to text her. We also want to just make sure you're all accessing your Google Drive and understand how to use it. I know we received homework from a few of you, so thumbs up if you are good with the homework folder. Your thumbs down, Keisha. I thought we received your homework today. No?
I created a folder and I emailed you guys the soul.
Oh, you shared it with us.
Right.
Perfect.
So I think I went in to look to see if I had a folder been shared with me. I didn't find anything. So
okay. So I will have shared or should have shared one with you. If you want to use your own to access, just request access from us and I'll make sure it appears in the right place.
Okay.
That's where we want everything uploaded.
Okay.
Okay. Thumbs up if you understand the units in Facebook or if you need us to show you how the units work. Thumbs up if you understand the units. Okay, so that's in the Facebook group. It has all of your weekly homework. So today after class, that's the only thing you have to do to see all of your homework. Today in your homework, you're going to have 2 fillable forms. One of them is a psychological unhealth statement. We are required to have this information about you. And the second one is a media release, and that is for testimonials. If we ever do group gatherings or take pictures or share anything, this is just saying we have permission to share your media. We wouldn't obviously share any session recordings or personal information. It would be more like a photo or possibly a Facebook tag or something like that. Then everybody should be on Marco Polo now. I know a few of you haven't connected with me, so thumbs up if you're understanding Marco Polo. So Astra, I haven't seen you on there. Anna, I haven't seen you on there. So, and Courtney, I haven't talked to you on there yet. Everybody else I think has, and Michelle. So if you haven't talked to me or Candace, get on Marco because it's a lot of extra support in that way. And then the last but not least announcement is we sent out an email yesterday with your bonus information for your Solutions Giving 10 free. Did everyone understand that? Was that easy enough to share? Kind of ish. So Adam, it's a really, if you copy and paste that email into text or Facebook Messenger, it's a really easy way to share, and they just have to click the link and they get free access. So just hit me up and let me know and we'll work through the tech issues, okay? Okay, so today, just to give you an overview, we'll be doing check-ins, then we're gonna be going into a really beautiful in-depth study of the root chakra, and we're gonna end today with a root chakra journey and energetic activation. So it's gonna be a fun, grounding day.
Awesome, lots of announcements. So just, again, reach out if you're confused about anything. We'll do our best to support you through all of that. And now we're gonna do what's called two-minute check-ins. And what this looks like is just sharing for 2 minutes. You can process through something you're going through, especially as like we begin to reveal things. Like if you're going through it, let us know. If you don't want to use the whole 2 minutes, that's fine as well. But we encourage you to do so, to just share and use your voice to begin to express what's deeply hidden within you, so we can just let it out. And I will always put the timer up to show you when you have 10 seconds left, and then just wrap that up. Okay, so we're going to have everyone share. So it's just, if you say hi, that's fine. But you each have 2 minutes to connect. So whoever wants to go first, you can go ahead and unmute. And if you want to go next, you can put your name in the chat. That way we can kind of manage this bigger group.
I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi guys. I'm doing good. Just a hectic week as far as up and down energy wise, and a lot of stuff going on. And I feel like the shadow work solutions was I really needed to hear, because it was good realizing your my patterns as far as having good days, bad days, and just finding the kind of right cycle for that. But I'm doing good, and it's nice to be in contact with my accountability partner and Michaela and Candace, and that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
I can go next.
Awesome.
Hi, everybody. It's been a powerful week. Definitely had a lot going on with the full moon. Lots of clarity, lots of grounding, and feeling really in the place now of seeing some images from the undefended self of that I am uncovering that are just really, I thought were a part of my reality, and in reality, I was living into a reality that was a part of suffering and separation, and being able to now disclose where I was choosing to suffer and separate myself from my true happiness, joy, connection, and being able to live like a child a little bit more this week with bike riding, connecting with my daughter, having more stuff to do at home around the house. It's been a very blessed, connected week. I feel very grounded. And having friends too.
Yay. Do you feel complete?
I do feel complete.
Okay. Thank you for sharing, Vanessa.
Okay, I guess I'll go next. I don't know about the full moon and what all that entails, but it seemed like an interesting week to me. Like, yeah, I slept more. But so I don't know what that means. Maybe I just needed rest or something. So yeah, and trying to like let that be the vibe for my life, and not feel like if I'm not doing anything, it's like, yeah, it's like not a good thing or something. Like, yeah. So yeah, it was interesting week for me.
Thank you, Keisha. And I'll just share a little bit quickly about the full moon. It's just in Scorpio energy, and it's all about change and transformations and doing like the deep inner work. So if you got really tired, that just means you're going deep, girl, because lots of downloads coming through.
I'll go next.
Thank you, Michelle.
Energy. So after Friday's call, I felt like boundless energy. I moved into my apartment like 3 weeks ago and have felt zero desire to nest or organize or unpack. No motivation at all. And I ended up just being like a little whirlwind on Friday night, and unpacked and put pictures up, and it was just really exciting. And Saturday, my son and I did a family workshop. So that was exhausting emotionally. And I actually took a nap on Sunday, and I never take naps. But I love what Keisha said. I've actually all week not felt like I needed to fill my moments. They fill themselves up enough, but I don't sit well, and I don't stay still well. And I didn't feel like I had to be filling that space. I allowed myself to just enjoy the moments that I did have on my own. So with nothing to do. And normally I feel guilty over that. So yeah, so it was actually really good week. Did feel drained a little bit throughout the week, but not like depressed, or I don't get depressed, but not like low as far as like happiness level, just low as an energy level. Anyway, there you go.
Thank you, Michelle, for sharing.
Yep.
I'll go next.
Thanks, Astra.
So after Friday, I was surprisingly exhausted. I had no energy, which was weird for me. So I took Saturday to rest, which was new to me, but felt really good. But throughout the week, I felt like I was standing up for myself more, but in turn, I've been dealing with a lot of negative energies from others as a consequence of that. So that's been hard. So I'm just trying to manage that energy. But yeah, feeling otherwise mostly good and better. But it's hard work.
Thank you.
I guess I can go next. I hope everyone can hear me well. This week has been up and down for me. I realized a few things about my parents. And one thing I'm very proud this week is classes has been tough with it being online. And a lot of students in my class were complaining to my professor about things didn't work out and they having trouble with their teammate. And I feel bad for the professor. So I decided to email him and let him know that how much I appreciate him for teaching us and how like he takes our opinion into his consideration and making changes, and he's doing the best he can to teach online. And I think that changed the mood for the whole class because the next day he was more cheerful and actually talks to the student about his day and like how it has been for him.
Awesome. Do you feel complete?
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. I love that you're appreciating your teacher. They need appreciation.
Thank you.
Who's next?
I guess I can go next while she's calm. My week has been horrible. I'm trying to wean her off, trying to get her to just sleep by herself, and it's been draining. 3:30 to 4 a.m. is like the hardest time, and right now I'm just trying to get her to get used to not having me as a pacifier during the day. So it's been a good 2 hours and she's still not asleep. And I'm trying so hard not to give in. But I caught myself crying a couple of times because I'm just getting so frustrated. And she's like pushing out 4 teeth at once. So it's really hard too. So right now she's just going in and out of just crying. And I'm like exhausted. So she's just being cuddly for now.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
We'll send her some healing energy to sleep well.
Yes, please.
All right, I think I'll go next. I had a pretty good week this week. I feel like there's a lot of changes. I got a sudden email from my old high school saying that they want me to, they're looking to hire me as a special needs teacher. So that's kind of exciting because I did get laid off from my job. So that's pretty exciting and I'm excited about that. I'm a little nervous too because I know that's going to be a challenging job. I had an interview with them yesterday and so I'm just waiting, but I have a good feeling about it. So yeah, that's mainly where a lot of my energy is going towards. And yeah, I'm just waiting and praying that, I get this job because I think, yeah, I'm excited for it.
Awesome. We'll be praying for you, honey.
Thank you.
Charmaine, did you want to go next?
Yeah. So as far as my energy, they've been high and low. I've have had some, things that come up. I had an issue with the Barnes & Noble person when I went to buy the book, and I know where that stemmed from. You know, I reflected back. I had a good week I took on a project as far as the lady I was working with. She went on vacation, so I took on extra work and got great reviews from the inspectors and other people. And in the same breath, I also was notified that the position, because I'm a temporary employee, so that position has been out for bid. I applied for it. Now the contractors are not going to be able to be interviewed. So potentially my position will be cut. So dealing with. So it's been just kind of that whirlwind of understanding that, you know, it's an emotional balance. However, with that being said, I still have been putting in my all and doing what I need to do to get the job done, and not taking things personally, because I know it's not personal. So.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll be praying for you as well for your job.
Thanks.
We have Courtney and Christina left.
I'll go. This week I've just been very exhausted. That was my daughter. Just very exhausted. I'm working from home, and taking care of my daughter, being a single parent. So it's a lot. As you can hear on the background. I've just been very tired. But other than that, my mood itself has been good. I mean, I've been definitely, vibing in a positive way. My side business is doing well. Just need to sell more and need to sponsor one more person, but I hit the leaderboards, high numbers, and May just started. So, I mean, that's going well. I mean, my teaching job is what it is, teaching from home. Miss my kids very much, but again, it is what it is. But otherwise I'm doing well. Mood wise, I'm just very tired.
Thank you so much, Courtney. Congratulations on getting on the leaderboard.
Thank you.
Okay, Christina.
Hello, everyone. So my energy this week has actually been pretty stable. Over the past couple weeks, it's been very emotional, inconsistent, emotions all over the place. But this week, I've actually had some breakthrough healing with old relationships that within family that left off in a hurtful place. So I've had some reconnection with them. I'm currently in Dallas on a road trip. You guys forgive me with all the emotions happening in the background, but my family. So that's been pretty exciting. A little wanting to go back into old feelings, but knowing that it's a pass through. And so that's kind of where I've been at with my emotions and feelings this week.
Awesome. Thank you. Drive safely. Okay. I think we've got everybody. Awesome. Thank you so much for all your shares. I mean, it's always so nice to hear from everybody. And this is a way that we get to know each other and especially hear what's going on in each other's lives. You'll start to hear some golden nuggets of maybe what someone else is going through is something what you're going through. So it's nice to have that community and connect that way. So we're going to start with the lessons. And before we go into root chakra, I want to share with you a little bit about the chakra system, right? Because this system is like the basis and foundation for Nikayla and my work. The reason why we find it so important is because it really is these big vortex energy centers that govern our lives. And it's a way that we organize things within our system to begin to take it all in and then compute it back out with how we create and respond and have attitudes about it. So it's interesting because this chakra system is not just with this life, right? We hold information from many past lives. It's literally our blueprint of our soul. And so as we unwind things and like open things up, we become like this beautiful rainbow bridge, which then connects heaven on earth and allows us to really operate in a way that's like fully functioning, right? Like if you have a operating system within your computer and you have all the right things, it like goes, it's like with ease and flow, right? That's what the chakra system was made for. But what was understood is as we get into the earth energies, it's so dense that it begins to pull things, and people have so many different circumstances. So we learn from our parents, from society, from everything, and then it takes in the sensory information and like jams up the system. And then we find ourselves operating in ways that it's like not conducive to our lives, doesn't even serve us, right? So we're learning how to unravel what's in our operating system, like these viruses, so to speak, that's come in, or what other people programmed into us, so that we can begin to like come back to our own state of being that then is like guided by source and rooted in Mother Earth. And just so you know, like this chakra system is very, very old. Like when I was researching about it a long time ago, it came from the Vedas, which is a knowledge, it's all knowledge from India. And then past that, it was what's it called? The Upanishads, which is all about like teachings of wisdom that teachers gave to their disciples, right? So it's like about literally 200 BC or so that this energy has been been developed and studied. And it correlates really strongly with yoga system, because then as we do different poses, it allows us to be yoked with the body and with the divine. So it allows us to see like our mortal self with the divine self and how it integrates with one another. So I'm not going to go into the history of all of it. I just wanted to give you a little overview so that you can understand like why the chakra system is so important. And as we go through the year, you know, we're doing like 2 months in root because we really need to get rooted in our bodies. Many of us live up in the astral realm and like, everything's so spiritual and wonderful. And you'll see why, because we don't want to go into the depths, right? The root chakra is very dense form. It's matter. It's things you can touch and play with, right? So sometimes it's so strong you can't break it. So when we go into the root, we're going to be like really diving into some really solid matter of our lives and understanding like what we need to like start to take out a hammer and chunk up so we can like really deal with what we've created here on earth. Okay, and then we go up the chakras, and the second is the water. It's a little more malleable, right? It can be contained. Then we have fire of the third chakra. It's like allowing this energy to move. And I did a fire ritual last night for the full moon. It was like, I was so amazed with the fire. I'm just like, I haven't seen it in a while because we haven't done a big fire pit in a while. And I was just like, I love fire. And then we go into the heart, which is air. And then we get into the fifth chakra, which is toning and sound. And then we get more ethereal with the sixth chakra of what's like unseen. And then we have the connection to source in the seventh. So it's really important that we start at the root and move up so that we can get grounded and really come from this being of present here on earth so we can bring in the energies into the world. Okay, so if you have any other questions about the chakras, you can ask me, or the book that we recommended to you has the introduction piece, The Eastern Body, Western Mind, that gives you a whole 52 pages of information on the chakras. Okay, awesome. Anybody have a quick question?
So the book that you guys recommended is more so for us to, it's not a book that you just like read through or anything like that. It's kind of like a reference of like what seems like that's what I'm listening when I'm listening to it. So
exactly. That way, as we teach and do the energy work on you through each of the chakras, you're going to have a focal point to like come back to, because sometimes when I read on my own, it gives me, it's like, you know, I didn't hear it in class. So then it's like, holy moly, you know? So it's a way for you to begin to unravel what's in your own first chakra, especially say, for instance, like you're in your crap and you can't really pay attention in the class, but you're getting the downloads and the healing. And then you go to the book and you're like, I had no idea, right? So it's just supplemental so that it can get you through the chakra system and your own energies better. Anybody else? Okay, excellent.
So as Candace is talking about this, right, as like a computer system, I really like this in an analogy, because is what we're going to do as we go through the chakras is we're going to identify our own wounding patterns. So in every chakra, we have it very systemized. So today is Root Chakra 101, and we have this activation and learning period on the first day of every chakra. And we do this because you're going to start noticing different wounding patterns. And what that means is different ways that your computer drive, your chakra system, has either been damaged, and that's a harsh word, but it's kind of true. Things have gotten into it, things have pulled away from it, it's maybe going in reverse, or it's shrunken down or totally expanded, right? So what you're going to do is each of us have a core wounding, which is like our biggest breakage in our computer drive. Okay, so for example, my core wounding is my third chakra, so that means I had the most like missing parts from my third chakra that I had to learn how to pull back in, and also from that point how to keep tuned up every single day, right? And then as I really started to heal my third, my fifth chakra, was like, oh, here, notice all my broken parts. And I put it back together and learned how to keep it. And we go through these different cycles. And then after we've gone through the whole chakra system, it starts over. And the third's like, oh, here I am again. I have more for you, right? And so I like this way of thinking about it, because as you go through, you're going to get information about, okay, I know if this is happening in my life, I need to do some work on my root chakra. It needs a tune-up. It needs extra attention today. I know if this is showing up, oh, my second chakra must be out of whack right now. And we're really going to be able to notice and differentiate between the different chakra systems. So we had, if you're taking notes, it's cool to kind of write down the different patterns for each chakra and keep them organized that way, so that you can always go to it as reference, because these sessions are going to give you a lot of information, like Candace said, and you're not going to catch it all. So whatever golden nuggets you do get, just absorb and keep that in your awareness. So without further ado, let's get started on the first chakra. Oh, the wonderful first chakra. Let's actually feel it a little bit. So the first chakra energy is our base. It's our foundation, our big energy center at the base of us, right? And I like to equate it to the energy of the center of the earth. That beautiful ball of magma, red, bright, fiery energy spinning and holding us all together. It's really dense and compact and is so super powerful, right? And when we can bring that energy up into us, it stabilizes our root and it gives us a solid foundation to build the rest of our lives and to channel the energy through the rest of our chakras. So we start with the root, like Candace said, because this is our base. And if your base is out of whack, then you're just kind of like this silly string walking around in life. And there's not a lot of substance. There's not grounding. There's not focus. It's also very hard when you're not in tune with your root chakra to manifest things, because you can create these worlds up here, but you're unable to bring them down to the ground. And that's why a lot of times really spiritual people are seen as in poverty or poor, because they have a hard time coming down to the ground. And that's why we love this group, is because we're teaching every healer how to get in their body. So it's really important to notice the different things that come up as you work through your root chakra. So the root is located at the base of your spine at your pelvic floor, and your second sits on your pelvic floor like a bowl. And it's the first 3 vertebrae of your spine. It's responsible for your sense of safety and security, and also your entire earthly journey. The Sanskrit name for it is the Muladhara, and it breaks actually up into 2 Sanskrit words. One of them, the Mula, meaning root, and the Adhara, meaning support or base. So it's the root or the base of this whole system. This is the first of the chakras of matter. So balancing the root chakra creates that solid foundation, and it really helps to open up and allows the other chakras to blossom and unfold. So think about it. This root is where we're really bringing up all of our energy and finding that stability so that we can grow and expand. So it's really comprised of what grounds and stabilizes you in your life. It includes your basic needs like food, water, shelter, and safety, as well as your emotional needs like letting go of fear. And I want to give you guys this picture of the root chakra so you really see how important it is. Okay, so what happens in electricity is if there's a wire, okay, and it's flopping around, going crazy, spasming everywhere, it has no way to harness in its energy, right? So what do? We ground it. We hook it to a grounding cable, or we ground it in to something. And what that does in a house with the electricity, it grounds all the excess energy and it takes it out of the house so that there's balance, right? That's what the root chakra does. It stabilizes our energy center so we're not all sporadic with flushed out energy. And it grounds us in, and it gets rid of any excess energy in our system. So you're not jittery and all over the place and tripping over things. You have this really powerful line of harnessed energy. And in fact, if you sit straight on your butt in the yoga pose, you can imagine a pole going straight down through your crown, down through this is your meridian line, and it actually is like the center of all of your chakras. And you can feel, as you become more aware, where your first chakra is at, and you can feel if there's little blockages down there, or if it feels really sunken in or more stable. So these are some really important awarenesses to have as you go through this. So a couple of the bullet points of the first chakra. Like Candace said, it's the element of earth. The name is the Muladhara, or root. Purpose is foundation. The issues in this chakra are roots, grounding, nourishment, trust, health, home, family, prosperity, appropriate boundaries. The color is red. The location is the base of the spine. The identity is physical. The orientation is self-preservation. The demon of the first chakra is fear. It develops, if you think of childhood, the second trimester to 12 months, and a lot of things are talking about the womb and things like that too. So really early on in your childhood is where this is developing, and all of the chakras correspond with different stages of development. Basic rights are to be here and have. A balanced characteristic of a really healthy root chakra looks like this: good health, well-grounded, vitality, comfortable in your body, sense of trust in the world, feeling of safety and security, the ability to relax and be still, stability, prosperity, right, and livelihood. The traumas and abuses that occur that kind of damage this chakra are birth trauma, abandonment, physical neglect, poor physical bonding with mother, malnourishment, feeding difficulties, major illnesses or surgery, physical abuse or violent environments, enema abuse, inherited traumas, parent survival fears, Holocaust survivors, war veterans, poverty conditions. Some of the deficiencies, so when you have a very lacking first chakra, you have a disconnection from body, notably underweight, fearful, anxious, restless, and can't settle, poor focus and discipline, financial difficulty, poor boundaries, and chronic disorganization. So you don't have all of these, but you obviously, if these are showing up in your life, you know you need to focus on the root chakra. If you have an excess of root energy, which also isn't good, right? We want to find balance. That's when you see obesity, overeating, hoarding, material fixation, greed, sluggish, lazy, tired, fear of change, addiction to security, rigid boundaries. Some of the physical malfunctions of this chakra are disorders of the bowel, anus, or large intestine, disorders of solid parts of the body like your bones and teeth, issues with legs, feet, knees, base of spine, or buttocks, eating disorders, frequent illness, and that can be with excessive or deficient. Some healing practices for this chakra are to reconnect with the body, physical activity, lots of touch and massage, bioenergetic grounding, hatha yoga, looking at your earliest childhood relationship to mother, and reclaiming your right to be here. And some affirmations which you can all say out loud are, it is safe for me to be here. The earth supports me and meets my needs. I love my body and trust its wisdom. And those of you hurrying and jotting these down, we actually have a whole workbook for you with all of these in it, so no stress. I am immersed in abundance, and I am here, I am real. So those are the bullet points of the root chakra. A couple other things I want to just tell you are, if you call on Archangel Ariel, the angel of nature, super incredible to help you ground. The eating proteins and meats helps you ground. The herb is cedar. And then I'm also just gonna give you guys a chant to be able to get on the frequency of this chakra, and we're going to have one of these for every single chakra. So and Candace, I'm going to just have you say this out loud with me so we can get more of the frequency. And so if you hear the tone in Candace and I's voice when we do this, you can actually find recordings of this online or just chanting it. I love chanting this right before I fall asleep. Just 6 times is my secret number. So whatever feels right to you. Candace and I will do it 3 times. And if you want to join in with us on the second or third one, you can do it with us. So it's Gobinde, which means the sustainer, and it's a tone and a frequency of the first chakra. So on 3, Candace, I'm going to just let you lead and I'll follow you. Okay, Candace?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Gobinde. Gobinde. Gobinde.
So it's low and it's from your belly. When you say this, it comes from your belly and you breathe it out and you just Gobinde, and it really soothes your soul. So that's one of your tools for the first chakra if it feels scattered. And just try to feel this out and kind of see where you're at in this chakra. Candace is going to take us even deeper with the first chakra now.
Was I muted the whole time? Okay.
Just then.
Okay. I was like, oh my God. All right. Hello, everybody. So I'm going to tell you about the wounding pattern, because when I began to hear this wounding pattern and how it was developed, it was just like, oh my God. Just helped me understand some of my friends, myself, on so many levels. So I'm going to give you the perfect world first, okay? So mother and father, completely in love. You know, they decide to have a family. They're just excited about life. You know, they're ready to begin a family. Mother gets pregnant, and during that time, mother is like really nurturing her body with amazing foods, you know, speaking to the baby, singing to the baby while in utero. Dad is present, you know, touching and supporting mom, being there lovingly for her, especially as her moods change up and down, just always protecting her and reassuring her. And then when the baby comes, both mom and dad have decided on a birth plan, and they're, baby comes out the way exactly that they wanted to, and they receive the baby, and there's just all this loving kisses, and they have maybe family support to be with them during this time so that they can take turns in resting and nurturing the baby. And baby feels so loved and nurtured. It feels like it's welcomed home on the earth, and it's like, right? But in a perfect world, that isn't, in our world, that isn't always the case, right? We have a lot of people that are so-called in a place of unskillful ways of living. A lot of times these babies are born out of wedlock, out of, one night stands or rape or whatever it is. And some of these parents have a lot of abusive tendencies or violent tendencies. And so some of these spirit babies that are being born into these families have I'm getting a little emotional, have the energies of the abuse around them. And, since we're all energy, the babies are feeling that. However you're yelling and screaming, if the parents are yelling and screaming, if the babies are succumbed to malnutrition, eating all this crap that's in our stores right now, like they're not getting the nutrients that they need while in utero. And, at the same time, the parents aren't there all of the time. There's smoking, there's drinking, there's drugs. And so this baby has formed an existential terror of like, where the fuck am I going? And can I please go back up here? Like, am I seriously coming into this world this way? Right? So, I gotta calm myself down. So, then the baby gets born, and maybe, there's a planned C-section, right? And it doesn't get to go through that struggle like a butterfly through a cocoon, like to strengthen its own immune system. It just gets pulled out and is like, okay, what's happening? The doctors take it, they do all these things with the baby. And now it finally gets landed home with mom, right, in her arms. And at the same time, there could be complications with mom too. So there's a lot of trauma that occurs from the first day it's conceived into being born. And this is where the child is just born with innate fear. I have a friend of mine, she's just always afraid of something. So she actually stays home a lot more because she's doesn't know what's going to happen out there, right? And this is a part of her process to ground, because she can be up here and playful and amazing. We can have so much fun together, imagining and believing, but at the same time, to get grounded, it's like, her feet, like you'll notice people's arches kind of go way high up, or they're always in high heels if you're a woman, because they don't want to get flat on the ground. And it's like, to even not wear high heels, it's like very foreign for them. Like when we're in our retreats, Nikaila's always looking at everyone's feet. So are they on the floor rather than crossed? And she's like the Nazi grounding police. It's like, put your feet on the floor so that you can be present, right? And if you can notice now, like, is your legs crossed? Are your feet on the ground? Are you wearing high heels? How are your arches? Your feet ache. So it just is this energy of like, I want to come up here. So their body becomes very long, like they're very long and elongated. So they're the very skinny, elongated, because, they're not eating the grounding foods to get here on earth. So they're really learning how to like manage all this hostility around them. They don't know how to speak. They don't know how to, they're just crying. They're afraid their needs aren't going to get met. So they come into this place of just constant fear, right? So the thing about this chakra is they have to contend with facing their inner terror as well as their inner rage. Because if you think about it, if you're not being paid attention to, if you're just getting, bombarded with all this negative energy, they're building up this core energy of like, right? And they don't know how to, they're afraid of it. They don't know how to release it. So a healing process of that is being able to express it out loud, and having a place of safety for that. So if you're in a space this is one of your primary wounds, if you are like, nope, I'm not angry, I'm fine, all is good. It's like a serenity mask, right? Or living up in the clouds, like, yes, all is well. But it's only because their environment was so traumatic and hostile, they escape out. But they develop some amazing spiritual gifts, right? They learn to see, they learn to hear. Their clair gifts are like full on. Like I have another friend that I took healing school with, and like her senses were just amazing because she lives in that space, right? Because she was beat up so much by her family. Like the only place that she felt safe was out of her body, so that she was over here, right? But what happens if we're not grounding into our bodies, we let everything else take over. So from entities to other people's energies, it's like they're just being governed by everything else. They have no inner authority within them because they're not even present with their bodies. They exist here. There's actually this healing skills book that we teach in the second year, their energy is like out here, not even in the body. And the body is just like racked with all kinds of stuff, right? So basically, the energetic defense is anytime there's any trauma or something, they're like, whoop, they're out of there. So if you're talking to them and you're in conflict with them, they're not really going to look you in the eye, right? Because they're not there anymore. They're goners. And you're just like, hello, do you hear what I'm saying? They're like, uh-huh, right? Have you ever had that? That's because if they are encountered with conflict, they're just out. So they would draw away from where you are to someplace spiritual. And basically they pretend that they're here. They have the face of here I am, but they're just somewhere far, far away. And basically they leave very regularly. Like a lot of times nobody's home, okay? Another task that they have to contend with is allowing themselves to be powerful, allowing themselves to know like they matter and that they exist and that they're real. And so by like embodying yourself, you literally are like putting on your suit of like, this is my body. I have a right to be here, and I can stand strong and grounded and be like, what's up, right? Like you can tell when somebody's in their body because they're present, they're here, they're unmovable, unshakable like a tree. Another task that they have to contend with is being able to make manifest what they see here in the spiritual world into the earth. And they have so many ideas, like brilliant ideas about everything because they see like a higher picture, but they don't allow themselves to actually do the work, which is like the practice, the everyday habits to make it happen. It's like anytime they have to do something real and concrete, it's like, it's too hard, and they whisk away, right? So they just will often be taken care of by other people. They'll find other people to take care of them all the time because it's very, very hard for them to take care of themselves. And that's where you'll see they live off of governments or sugar daddies or sugar mamas all the time. Let's see. Another thing is they also, because they had to deal with so much trauma in life, they had to compartmentalize themselves. So this is my creative self. This is my relationship self. This is my career self. This is this self. But the thing is that there's no connections. So if they are interacting with you in a relationship and say they aren't like really there relationally, but they're there like as a career person, you're like, why is it so different? It's because these are two different people. Like they've created their different aspects of themselves. So a healing task is to begin to create doorways and windows between all of those parts and integrate that themselves as a whole. So you're not just like scattered and being different people for different things. you're integrated as a whole person. Oftentimes, like when they're in like counseling situations, they will go, yes, that's exactly, you know, where I want to go, and this is what I want to do. So very light, like if you can hear my voice, it's very light and airy, and so they won't get to the heart of the issues, right? What happens then is they're nice and spiritual, but if they keep going to the counseling work, they'll get a little blamey. They'll start to reject you because they're starting to get down more into the ground of themselves, and so they'll blame you for things. And then the third layer, they'll begin to go, you know, you don't exist either. You don't belong here. All of that energy. And then when you get to the heart, the core, they're like, wow, I am real. I do exist. I do belong here. And I see what I haven't been allowing myself to see before. Some of the healing things that you can do for this wound is like wrap yourself in a blanket and just feel, you know, your own comfort. They need a lot of loving, because if you think about it, with being that baby with no love around, like they need to be held, they need hugs. You know, if you're in that root chakra energy, go get a hug. I know we're in quarantine, but find somebody to get a hug from. And also then another healing aspect is feel the rage little at a time. You know, sometimes with that full on rage, it freaks them out and they get PTSD and they're out of there. But if you allow yourself to like deal with like purposeful little bouts of your rage, then you kind of ground deeper in, and then the self-love will start to come in, because literally what they're doing is expelling all the rage energy from their infancy and birth. Let's see. I think the last thing I want to talk about is the body itself, right? There's a lot of imbalances, a lot of energy leaks. There's a lot of breaks in their energy field. So that's why they're so susceptible to other people's energies. And that's why they freak out and they leave their body. So, but, you know, around their head, especially if you can see, it's just brilliant, beautiful colors, bright, because they're like living in the clouds with source, creator, God. They're like, I'm up here because I'm not going to go down there. The chakra itself, because it's not open, they're easily, like you can sweep them off their feet. They trip over things. People walk into them all the time. So if you're someone that's always banging your toes or hitting your knee or hitting your hips or whatever it is, that is a sure sign that you're ungrounded. And then last but not least, like the task of the higher self is to be honest with yourself, right? We have shortcomings. Like a lot of times with that first chakra, it's the spiritual, like everything is all good. So it's like to be honest and say, you know what? I actually have faults in this. This is something I'm working on. This is one of the wounds I have. Also allowing themselves to take that spiritual purpose, especially because they've been up here and grounded in, so it can show the world like how heaven can really be on earth. Also to allow themselves to be creative and allow those ideas to come through them in a whole way, like believing in themselves and allowing it to be manifest into the world. So I think that's it for my notes. I'm just going to come to you real quick before we switch over. Does anyone have questions? I know we have a little somber mood. I'm sorry. But this is real shit, right? This is the stuff that it's like, oh, when I found out I had my first root chakra wounding, I mean, it's not my major one, but it's basically in how I bring ideas in. And it was hard for me. So it helps that I have Nikayla to like ground me in and go, it's okay, share it, show it, you know. But without her, I'm like, so any questions or just letting it soak in? Okay, awesome.
I'm a bit confused. Like, how do you know which one is
When you work with me, I will let you know. So when you guys first have your first session with me, I will share what it is with you so you can begin to start like allowing yourself to focus on it. But you'll start to notice we all each have our, each of those chakra wounds at different points and different times. So you'll see.
So we might see pieces in this, but not, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a pretty good idea what my core one is. And so, but with the root chakra, I know that right now that's where I know my root chakra is pretty disruptive right now. So how does that relate to, like, I didn't have a birth issue. I didn't, so how does that relate to, or how do I reflect back to see where I'm disruptive?
Well, a lot
Sorry,
of
I'm not asking the question properly.
how
I know that my root is not my core one. How am I out of balance right now? I guess is what I'm trying to say. I know I am out of balance in my root.
Right. So what happens is, depending on however your parents were raising you while in utero, I mean, who knows how they were behaving, with you. That's actually one of our homework things is to, if they're still present, asking your birth story so that you can know what that looked like. Sometimes it just is taken out with forceps, right? It's like just a troubled birth, and that already causes a grounding problem. But ultimately, we all have a bit of a grounding problem. Like, we don't really want to be here on Earth because it's pretty tumultuous, right? And it could have been just you're so sensitive that even the environment, say there was a loving home, but then everything around you was like chaos, right? Like imagine the babies that were born during wartime or whatnot, or in like the ghetto, right? With all that energy around. So I just encourage you guys to like look inquisitively. Don't beat yourself up. Like this is a natural wounding pattern we all carry in some way, shape, or form.
Awesome. Okay, so we are going to do our first shamanic journey. We will be doing these for each of the chakras on the first day of each chakra. And while I do the journey, Candace actually goes in. So as a shaman, what I do with your energy centers, for those of you, I know most of you have had a session with me before, but for those of you who haven't, what I do is I get to experience your energetic system with you. And I help you establish that connection with the earth first, because shamans are of the earth. So we bring it all down, no matter what chakra we're doing. And I energetically help to activate and spin that chakra in the right direction. And Candace is clearing every single one of yours energy, helping me hold your feet and holding us in a container. So after these sessions, especially, you might find yourself really tired, wanting to eat more. Please drink lots of water. And I do want you to know this because in the past, people have really beat themselves up. It doesn't matter what you experience. There is no expectation. It's normal not to see things your first few times if you're not used to this process. That just means we need to work a little more on the grounding and visualization, which Candace and I will do in your sessions. So just be open and no expectations on this journey. It works best with headphones and lying down, but if that's not possible, that's totally okay. And you can always rewatch these in the replay. So I'm going to have every one of you go ahead and get comfy. We do like to black out our screens during this part just for comfortability. It's totally optional. And then I'll call you back into the circle once the journey has ended. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to get situated while I start the music. And I want everyone to start with a big deep breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Every breath you take, sinking deeper and deeper into relaxation, deeper and deeper into the subconscious mind, where any thoughts or feelings that come up simply float away. Breathing in beautiful, grounding energy as you feel the surface beneath you, holding your body, melting into whatever's underneath you, becoming one. Breathing in, feeling completely relaxed. And as you breathe, I want you to imagine yourself walking on a beautiful forest path. As you walk down this path, you notice your bare feet in the cool soil, the smell of the fresh, crisp air. Everything feels peaceful and calm here. You notice a light rain begin to fall down on you as you walk. This beautiful rain shows up in a deep crimson red, covering your entire body, an energy filled in a deep red energy. As you soak up this energy, pouring through every fiber of your cells, you become grounded and connected to the earth, one with our dear mother, stable, steady, safe. You feel a power and a strength here as this rain pours down on you. As it fades into a beautiful orange, your body opens with feelings, emotions, sensuality. Your creativity begins to swirl, your imagination full throttle. You feel alive, feminine, soft, surrendered. As the rain changes to a beautiful yellow, you feel a fire rising within you. As this soaks in through your pores and your third chakra activates, you find a confidence, a deep sense of who you are and what your purpose is, stable, electric energy pulsating through you as your third chakra activates. Changing to a beautiful green, vibrant green rain pouring down into your skin, flowing through your blood, absorbed into all of your organs, as your heart begins to open and expand with the pure energy of love, pure, high frequency love flooding in and out of you, being absorbed into you, so that love is all you feel. As this beautiful rain fades into a light blue and your throat chakra opens like warm molasses pouring down, you have the ability now to express yourself with this beautiful blue energy. You find your truth, you find your strength, your individuality. You know who you are. You're flowy and flexible, breathing in all possibility. As this light blue deepens into an indigo and your third eye opens and activates, you have a clear image of your role in this life, of the illusion around us. You see things clearly here, all knowing here, all sensing here. And with a final change of the rain, a beautiful violet pours down on you as you're connected with God, Source, Universe. The divinity within you awakens and you feel fully supported, fully in your essence. And as the rain fades away and you're back on the forest path, completely aligned, you notice a massive tree standing before you. On this tree is a knob, access to the inside, and as you turn this knob and enter, you find yourself in the trunk of the tree. The roots of the tree lit up and you can see them expanding into the earth's core for miles and miles. As you stand in the center of the tree, it comes alive. It becomes a part of you, and as your feet too become roots, and you notice a beautiful chakra spinning at the base of your spine, bigger and bigger, activating fully. You notice a beautiful woman standing here in the tree with you. She is the oracle of the trees, the mother of the leaves, the provider of the roots. She's here to share a powerful message about our Earth Mother, to teach you about her warmth and embrace. You can ask her any questions you might have. As you ground into the earth and activate your chakra, listen to her words with an open heart and mind. The time now is yours. As this powerful message comes to an end, thank the Oracle of the Trees for joining you today, for sharing this beautiful message. And as she fades away, you notice your feet now thick, golden roots, sucking vibrant red energy from the earth. You notice how alive you feel, how stable you feel. As you take the earth into your body and become one, you exit the tree feeling fully complete. And as you open the door, a small piece of paper floats down into your hand. It has one sentence written on it. Read this sentence, memorize it, tuck it into your heart for safekeeping. As you walk back down the forest path, every step you take bringing you back into your body, back into the room where you feel the weight of yourself on the table or surface beneath you. Breathing in and wiggling your toes, your fingers come alive, your breath becomes normal, your eyes flutter open, and when you're ready, come back to the circle. Welcome back and congratulations on your first chakra activation journey. Candace is going to share a little bit about what she cleared, and then I'd love to know maybe what note you got or maybe part of your experience.
Awesome. That was so beautiful, very calming, and I can feel everyone's chakras just, not necessarily like this, but it's opening, right? Sometimes it's a little pinprick, you know. So I had to clear a lot of extra souls within each of your bodies, meaning you are overrun with other energies, and it's causing a lot of unclear decision making and clear things of who you are, what you're trying to do. So I had to get those out of there. I also had to clear a lot of lost souls, meaning because you're not here, it's like all these outside external souls are coming in to like attach to you. And then I had to clear a whole bunch of connections that you have with other people, right? It's like all these, it's like you take everyone's information in because you're kind of trying to analyze like everything that's going on and looking for the worries, the fears, what could go wrong. So you literally have tabs on, I'm just going to say it, like as a group, 2 million people. Okay. So we had to let them all go. That's a lot. Then I had to go in and clear your conscious and subconscious, as well as your DNA and chromosomes, because it's just has like the energies of this fear that exists with that root chakra. It's like implanting like it's okay to be here. This is your home. This is Earth. This is your space. Then I also had to clear the cellular memory because of that time, like it gets duplicated. Your cells actually clear every so-called 7 years, I believe. But because it's still part of your belief system, it keeps duplicating into your system. So meaning it keeps getting reprogrammed into your body that you have to fear being here. You have to fear not being in your body. And I also had to clear your spiritual charts and raise some of your high self committees, because a lot of them are still protecting you with the existential fear that's around you, right? So sometimes like the guardian angels are like, we don't want her to get hurt. So if someone does something like just a conflict, right, it's like already protection, block, block, block. Where if we open up the spiritual channels, it's like you can go into your knowingness of like what's right for you, and or run away kind of thing. It's like, oh, this is dangerous, I'll run away, but not like at the first sign of someone raising their voice to run away, so to speak. And then the high self committees, we'll begin to learn about them later. We don't want you to focus on them, but if you're in tuned, it's like allow yourself to get to know them. Because we're raising them, there might be some new ones coming in to support you on this next part of your journey. So if you are in tuned with that, you can just sit in meditation and ask, like, who are you? Or you might see them, or you see a color, depending. Also, I had to clear a block to giving yourself freedom, meaning you keep yourself kind of in your own little, spiritual freedom prison up here, and you're not allowing yourself to play on the earth and like roam freely like the animals and just feel like the wonderfulness of this earth. Because when you're in the root chakra, everything is vibrant, everything's loving, everything's there for you, right? Like the plants, the trees, the animals, everything. And then lastly, this was a big one, is clearing out that escape pod you have in your body, so that you're not like your first reaction is, escape, right? So it's like I took out the escape pod so you can actually go, I can do this, I could do this, I could do this. I can either face it full on or say, not right now. Let me talk later when I get all this processed, right? So yeah, I took out the escape pods.
Wow, we did a lot of work today. And I do want to say this too for the replay viewers. Energy works in this vessel. So as the replay viewers watch this, you still get the same energy clearing. And if you feel ungrounded, you can go back to watch this, or all of our solutions. Candace is doing energy work. I'm helping ground you, so you can like step in there and you can get those energy healing. So keep that in mind when you're watching these replays too, because it's really powerful. So how are you feeling? Do you want to share? You can either share how you felt like energetically about, Candace said what happened during your journey, the note you got, and we'll keep it short because we only have 10 minutes left. Oh yeah. And then just share if you feel called.
Well, that really triggered me a lot today, I will say. I actually ended up asking my mom about my birth journey, like, you know, what happened and like, you know, before I was here. And it's like a lot of the stuff that you said, it was like totally like, you know, my dad was in Germany and she was so, you know, not knowing what was going to happen. And he was in the military, so she couldn't call him, and just like a freaking like, yeah. And so I can now look back and say like, oh my God, now listening to you today and now how I do when I move in the world, it all makes sense. So yeah.
Thank you, Keisha. Beautiful.
I had a question come up and then my note. So the question that came up when you said ask her anything was, does physical trauma to your lower back and pelvic region affect this chakra, or is it just emotional, experiential?
So root chakra is the whole physical body. So anything in the body is, because it's your form, it's matter. So any pains are definitely root chakra. And also like, because it's at the perineum, like anywhere near your pelvis, because women actually ground through second chakra. So that any lower back pain can also be fear of something.
No, I was meaning, like, I got hit by a car when I was 8 and it hit my pelvis, and I have a pelvis tilt and I had scoliosis in my lower back because of that. So that's what I was referring to. It was more actual physical trauma. My note said, bring yourself back to center.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you, Michelle.
So mine was yellow light, and when I tried to read mine, it was just paper and then just words. There were as an actual sentence, but I couldn't make out the sentence. So
thank you.
Anybody else?
Okay, I'll go. So I actually couldn't see it was on my paper. I have this thing when I dream where I'm aware that my eyes are closed because I'm asleep. And so whenever I see something to read, I know I can't read it because my eyes are closed because I'm asleep. But I had that same thing happen with this. So I'm going to go back to the recording and do it again, and maybe with my eyes open I'll be able to see what's on there. But also for Candace, Nikayla, and Adam, who know what I've been experiencing today too, Charmaine, you too, this totally flushed everything out. So that's great.
Yay.
I have a quick question. What are kind of some of the outcomes after these meditations? Because I know sometimes there's things to like look out for in the next like week. because it's kind of almost like an activation of higher counsel and all the different things that kind of come forth with these meditations, because I take it, extremely seriously, and I've seen a lot of different outcomes from relationships, conversations, healings, miracles, blessings, breakthroughs, so many different things that have come through after these meditations. There's kind of like that integration part. So just kind of understanding that part of what to look out for in this upcoming time.
So definitely want to be aware of your body and your energy field, pulling in your energy and staying grounded in your body. It's a really amazing time. And this is the thing, there's no expectation, but if you're intentional about it and you set the intention, you get a lot more downloads about this, right? So in your homework, we're also very intentional each week, knowing that this root is really activated, and Candace and I in the background are constantly pouring energy into this group. And so as you go through, the questions are going to help you reflect. So like today we're looking at birth stories and we're really observing our own root. Next week we're going into more of our foundational stability stuff, right? So each week we're going to take the chakra even deeper until you're really solidly connected. So watch for physical sensations. Notice like your level of clumsiness versus being very connected to the earth. Notice if you're having eye contact during conversations, or if your eyes are kind of everywhere, right? Really starting to notice, because it's going to be very in your face now that your chakra is activated. You're going to be very aware of when you're in and out of your body. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Did that answer your question?
It did. Thank you.
I'm going to add a little bit to it too, because if you have some of the chakra and you're going deep into it, you might encounter, the fears and the rage, right? So again, remember, take it in small bite-sized chunks and realize that you're safe. Like your consciousness will go to like the past trauma or whatnot, but it's like, I'm here in my room. It's like, get yourself going. Like, I'm in my room, touching my bed. It's like being physical with things, right? I am safe. I'm safe. I'm here, right? So that then you're not like get freaked out and you're thinking something's wrong, and then you leave again. So it's just allowing yourself to be present with yourself, almost like as if you are that baby at this time, and nurturing yourself. Like if you start to cry, it's like soothe yourself, give that warm blanket, take a hot bath, feed yourself, anything that nurtures that inner baby, so to speak.
I have a question back to that. So the last couple nights would make sense, because the last couple of nights I've wrapped myself in a blanket. Instead of like just pulling the covers over me, I've actually wrapped up in a blanket to sleep. And I have been listening to the book instead of reading. So maybe that makes more sense.
Cool. Anybody else before we end this yummy call? I do want to make sure that you are in touch with your accountability partners. I know a couple of you aren't. If you need a connection, let Candace or I know and we will connect you. But this is an important part of our course, so make sure you're talking. Renessa asked me last week what this is supposed to kind of look like. And so the feedback I'm going to give you is anything you want it to. We know, so we check energetically each partnership, and you're going to mirror certain things, you're going to see certain things, you're going to push certain buttons, you're going to open certain chakras together. So really just letting it be how it is. A lot of our accountability partners check in every day. In our old courses now, we have people visiting each other, talking every day, like going to their kids' birthday parties. It's really cool. So this relationship can be whatever you want it to be. But again, the more you push yourself, we're all here because in some part of our lives, we have a hard time with love, connections, and relationships. That's a very common human thing, right? And so we're pushing ourselves to expand, and chances are most of you never would have met out on the streets, but you made a soul contract to gather here. So let's make the most out of it and really give in and allow these relationships to unfold.
Awesome. Before we end, I want to give you one tool, another tool just to support you guys in getting grounded. Put your hands on your head if you feel like you're going to escape out.
It's my favorite one.
Yeah. Like when my husband's talking to me and I know I'm like, get in there. Okay, just so that helps you throughout the week. But we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Yeah, just 4 days. Love you all, and I will see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
See you
Guys.
later. Have a great
Bye,
week.
everybody.
Hey.
Michelle.